So, a few weeks ago, I started watching Reacher for the first time, and honestly, I couldn't stop until finishing all three seasons. The show is honestly extremely entertaining, enticing, action packed, and filled with likable characters. And if I'm being honest, there's something undeniably satisfying about watching Mr. Reacher
Just Reacher.
in action. All it takes is one look to realize that this man is a man who operates on a different level. He's pretty much superhuman. You know, a human Swiss army knife, if you will. He's brilliant, brutally efficient, and seemingly impervious to doubt or defeat. And that's exactly why audiences, me included, love him. But upon realizing this, I came to notice a small little detail. At no point in watching the show did I ever feel that Reacher was truly in danger. What I mean is that I always knew he would come out on top. And this wasn't due to a lack of investment in the story for my part or a lack of suspension of disbelief. No. In fact, it was something else. So, I believe it's worth asking, is Jack Reacher too perfect? Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. All I know about Reacher is what we have seen on the show. I haven't really had the chance to read the books, but this is why it feels that at its core, Reacher is a real fantasy. You know, the ultimate lone wolf who exists outside of society's rules, but always, no matter what, lands on his feet. The show doesn't really shy away from this fantastical concept. In fact, it embraces it. And through it, it delivers action sequences where Reacher dismantles opponents with almost mathematical precision. For example, in Season 1, the iconic prison fight isn't just a brawl, it's a straight up demonstration of Reacher's physical dominance, and it's choreographed like a one-man symphony of violence. And later in Season 2, when he takes up that helicopter, he does so with nothing but quick thinking and sheer audacity. It's thrilling precisely because we know he will pull it off. There is no manufactured tension, no last minute stumble, just pure, unfiltered badassery. Yet, that very badassery raises my earlier question. Can a hero be too flawless? And if that's the case, does that diminishes my investment in the story? You see, traditional storytelling is supposed to thrive on conflict, both external and internal. But Reacher honestly sidesteps most of these conventions. Like, for example, when his brother dies in Season 1, the emotional impact is said to be present, but it never really feels like it's there. Reacher actually processes grief like he does everything else, with cold efficiency. And while yes, he's a badass for it, and you personally feel for him, it does leave you thinking about it. By Season 2, when members of his military unit are picked off one by one, his response is less about sorrow and grief, and more about retribution. And even morally, Reacher's code is unwavering. He never questions whether his brand of justice is right, he simply acts on it, leaving us, the viewer, with little room to wonder about the man behind the stoicism. Now, it does feel like the writers did take notice on these elements, since in Season 3, Reacher does feel a bit more prone to making mistakes and plans backfiring on him, which, yes, is a step. However, I still feel like the character is always in control, even if the show is trying to show me that he isn't. His actions tell me otherwise. And don't get me wrong, this isn't necessarily a flaw. It's a deliberate choice. And you can tell, this show is not aiming for the psychological depth of Breaking Bad or the moral ambiguity of The Punisher. The show is actually a throwback to a more classic action hero who exists solely to outsmart and overpower his adversaries. And on that front, it actually succeeds brilliantly. But the moments where the show seems to intend for Reacher's armor to crack, however briefly, hints at what could make him even more compelling as a character. For example, take his quiet visit to his brother's grave in Season 1. or the uncharacteristic hesitation before calling Neagley for help in Season 2. These small glimpses of vulnerability are rare, but they exist. And they resonate with us because, well, they remind us that beneath the superhuman exterior, there is a man who might just occasionally feel the weight of his choices. And I wish that we had a little bit more deep exploration onto those themes. And as I mentioned before, the attempt of the showrunners to go against the nature of the show that we have watched so far in the past 2 seasons leaves Season 3 feeling like a red-headed stepchild. And not in an unwatchable way, not even in a poorly written way, but in a confused way. It feels like the writers of Season 3 sat down and said, well, in Season 1 and 2, everything went right according to plan. So we have to have every single plan go wrong to have the character struggle this time. But because Reacher as a character just stays calm, cool, and collected in the face of, well, everything, really, it doesn't feel like these struggles really matter. So why have the plan backfire to begin with, just for him to figure it out anyways? It feels a little cheap. It feels fabricated. But honestly, I recognize that this is a small little nitpick in a show that otherwise is great. And I don't know, I think I just wanted Reacher to actually struggle more in this season and to bring his power level down a peg. But no, I didn't really get that. And that doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy Season 3. Of course not. So where does that leave us? The answer is simple, really. Reacher is a show that excels at high-octane, no-apologies action. And Jack Reacher as a character is the embodiment of these concepts. Honestly, there is truly a cathartic joy in watching someone who's always 2 steps ahead. Someone who never loses a fight. And someone who delivers his own brand of justice with his fists and his brain. But the show's best moments suggest that even Reacher could benefit from a stumble here and there. Not to undermine his prowess, no. But to make those victories feel even sweeter? At least not for him, but for the audience. After all, the most memorable heroes aren't just the ones who never fail, they're the ones who prove they can fall and get back up. But what do you think? Does Reacher's perfection make him more entertaining? Or does it throw you out of the story? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And see you guys in the next one. Bye.